Hello and welcome to the Affordable Housing Club. Today we're going to look at the process involved with getting the approvals for an accessory or additional residential backyard unit. I prepared my presentation and I will start it now. So it can be complicated and confusing. Anyway, we're going to go through the steps that are involved. I'm looking specifically at the city of Burlington for my property. So the steps involve, first of all, a pre-building approval. Then we're going to look at the building permit application form, which requires a scaled site plan, full construction drawings that involve plans, elevations, sections, roof, layout, foundation, etc. Then you also have to include structural, mechanical, plumbing, electrical information, and another component is the energy analysis under the SB 12 part of the building code. Pre-building approval. So this is a submission to the zoning and development department, which includes forestry. So they will look at requiring an application form, and then you will require an up-to-date legal survey. There'll be a site plan required that shows the proposed work, all the setbacks. Then you need floor plans, elevations, an arborist report for tree protection, grading and drainage plan stamped by a professional engineer or surveyor. Then additional technical documents may be required depending on the details of the proposal. So once you get through that hurdle, then looking at the building permit itself, it includes a number of things. This is a layout of the or list of the various drawings or sheets that they were referred to. So it gives us sheet number, the title, and the contents. I'm not going to go through everything in detail. The cover sheet is just a heading as to what it's about, and then there has to be a big blank space for the city to put in a stamp of their review details. Part of the submission package includes general notes, which are pretty standard across the industry. They covered a number of topics. Then you have to have a site plan with details of dimensions and zoning and whatnot. So in this case, my unit is proposed at the back. The lot front is at the bottom of the sheet. You need a floor plan. So in this case, we're looking at a roughly an 80 square meter footprint, and includes 2 bedrooms, bathroom, kitchen, living dining area, and a little utility room that includes a water heater and the heating and cooling unit. It can provide storage as well. You need a roof plan. This isn't detailed as yet. You need elevations of the different sides. So here we have the 2 ends, and then the back and the front. You need a cross section. I don't have the ability to do that, but I've done this dollhouse view of showing what the internal arrangements would look like. You need details of your foundation. I've shown a concrete pier design here, but a better alternative is probably helical piles. Then you can provide a number of schedules and details regarding windows, handrails, decks, etc. Need an electrical plan, and this shows where ceiling fixture lights are located, where switches on the walls are located, and things like fire alarm, carbon monoxide detectors in different rooms. The electrical panel is in the utility room at the top center of this drawing. Just repeating this because this also shows the location of plumbing fixtures for the kitchen. In this case, there's no dishwasher, it's kitchen sink. Then backing onto that, you have toilet sink and shower, bathtub. And there would be a water heater again in this utility room. You need to show a plumbing schematic, just shows where the piping goes and the legend. This is not complete yet. Details of a water heater. Here we're showing an electric tank and provided by power from the panel, 240 volts, to provide the laundry equipment if there is one in the utility room. Then the kitchen and the bathroom. You need to show ventilation. In this case, I'm proposing this Vento product, which come in pairs, so they exhaust stale air and bring in fresh air that's preheated in pairs. There'd be two pairs, one for the main living area and another pair for the bedrooms. I propose to control this with a carbon dioxide monitor that will also control humidity. The ERVs are located at the upper left. We have one in the living dining area, and that will exchange with the one in the bathroom. Then there's another one in one of the bedrooms that exchanges with the one in the other bedroom. In terms of heating and cooling, I found that the heat pump that has a central distribution unit is the best option. It provides adequate heating and cooling and not being oversized. And it can be deducted to reduce costs. This ceiling unit, or concealed unit as it's sometimes called, is provided by different manufacturers. I'm showing the Mitsubishi, and they call it a PEAD unit. You have to provide mechanical calculations. So in this case, you have to look at the heat loss and gain. So there are formulas for doing that. You have to look at the infiltration, heat loss. Again, use equations. So for this building, turns out that the heating requirement is just under half a ton, which is fairly small. So that's 6,000 BTUs per hour. So again, heat pump sizing, because it's a small dwelling unit, doesn't require much heating or cooling. But most heat pumps on the market are started around 9,000 BTUs an hour, which is just under 1 ton. And they can be oversized for applications like this. When you go to the indoor mini split units with internal heads on the wall and an outdoor unit, the heads start at 6,000 BTUs per hour. So if you have 3 units in a small dwelling such as this, one in the central area and one in each of 2 bedrooms, it can be oversized. The outdoor unit with 3 ports comes in larger sizes. So when you get a 3 port, you usually have a unit that's 2 or 2.5 tons. Again, providing more power than you need, which is expensive, but also can cause short cycling and that causes the unit not to work as efficiently in both heating and cooling. In cooling in particular, you may not get dehumidification. So I found that this PEAD unit is the best to use, and it's sized at 9,000 BTUs per hour. So I am a dealer for the Mitsubishi products, and this unit, the last pricing I got, which is a little out of date, was $3,500 for both the indoor and outdoor unit. It's rated at 9,000 BTUs an hour, and that's the cooling capacity, and the heating can go up to 12,000. You have to provide what are called energy forms, energy efficiency, design summary, and modeling reports. So I've started to fill this out, and you have to identify your heating zone and heating fuel source. In this case, the option is electric. You look at your wall area and amount of windows and glass. You can't have more than 22% of your gross wall area as glazing. In this case, I'm at 8%. Again, there's a form. You fill out all these details. Looks at number of factors, R values for the building envelope components. This is not completely finished at this point. Then under the design of the building envelope, you can use prescriptive packages, which are packages that will comply with the building code requirements. So in this case, we would look at a C4, which is appropriate for electrically heated space, including heat pumps. So it gives the R values for ceilings, floors. The case here we have is exposed floor because there's no basement. Then walls and the roof, which is part of the ceiling. I have looked at different ways to achieve this with SIP panels and regular framing, wood framing with insulation and continuous rigid insulation on top. So our values are given here. Windows, you have to provide appropriate R value. This shows that a basic single pane window is not enough. And you can go with high performance and triple glaze windows and achieve the objectives. So when you look at all of this, we find that the process for a small unit is the same as for a large home. And the cost of a surveyor, arborist, and designer can be expensive. Permit fees may be a little less because of it's based on the size of the dwelling unit, but there is a minimum fee. So these costs could be minimized through thinking outside the box with ideas such as help of volunteers, say retired engineers and builders who would help, or maybe the paid professionals could give discounts or concessions. And if we look at group applications through a group such as a faith organization, that may be able to reduce costs. So in upcoming videos and presentations, I'll be looking at the breakdown of the costs. Thank you for attending. We will see you next time, and you can see this video posted on YouTube.